Up here, but
Okay, right here. Here you
people
go,
keep
baby.
touching my pen.
And we are live, Coach Bryant. Welcome, 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 everybody. Welcome to Hits and Heels on Wednesday nights at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And I am Coach Terry Bryant, and I am a football coach. And not just a football coach, I'm a whole offensive coordinator, thanks to this man right here. And Coach Bryant is my head coach at Crawford Middle School. He made me a coach. And so we created Hits and Heels because I sometimes think I know what I'm talking about. But one of the main things that we use Hits and Heels for is to highlight legends. And we love bringing on legendary athletes that are our heroes, and we love being able to highlight them and have a conversation with them so we can go a little bit more in depth of their life and gain just more inspiration from them. Coach Bryant.
I mean, great introduction based on what we do here. Um, the biggest thing is that it's bringing on guys, ladies that we think we know, but we don't know.
But we really don't know them for real.
And a lot of people are the guests today. I mean, he don't believe this, and because when I say it, he just smiles. He got that smooth smile going on.
But he's so humble.
Yeah,
Like,
he really is, and
mhm.
he don't believe that. The first time I ever met him, I'm in awe.
Yeah.
I'm in awe. And the biggest plus is I'm in awe with his boys. Their boys. It's pretty good. And he did play for LA Blue.
And you're a huge Dodgers fan.
He did play for LA Blue.
Okay. Well, with no further ado, we're going to go ahead and bring on, I'm going to say Coach John T-Bone Shelby. And Coach, you know what? We love you. We absolutely love you. So listen, I don't even know where to start because
I got questions.
We got so many questions. So I hope that you're patient with us tonight because your story is just absolutely phenomenal. And I think that what we like to do is we also like to help a lot of families and help other people navigate this whole sports. And Coach, you got 3 boys that made it to the next level just like you did. And so you have the blueprint. And so we're going to definitely do a deep dive in all of that because we want all the tea.
Yeah, and let me say this before you get started. Hey, Coach, how you doing?
All right, how are you, Coach?
I'm good. The biggest thing is that I mean, you've been on the show once before, and we touched on some stuff. And when we got off the show, I was like, "Oh, I should have asked him that. Oh, I should have asked him that." And I really mean that. And before I forget, in the beginning, please tell you love your wife. I said, "All right." And
Yes.
we said, please.
Oh, I love me some Trina.
Yeah, I mean, because that's a big deal too, because people don't realize the support, male or female, no matter what they're doing, coaching in the business world, a doctor, a police officer, a firefighter, a first responder, firefighter, that support at home is huge.
Yes.
I mean, and that's going to be one of my questions. That's one of my questions. That support is amazing because I've been in that situation where it was tight. It really was, and I couldn't do me and be me when I left. And so, with that said, my first question to you, and people that's tuning in, this is John T-Bone Shelby, the Taste Creek legend.
Uh-oh. Hold on.
I'm kidding. Everything. I'm kidding.
Thank you. We can go.
I'm kidding. I'm thinking.
Tell him don't be disrespecting you like that, Coach Shelby.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Your boys went to TC. Okay, but that's okay. I didn't say another school. At least I kept it in the family. I kept it in the family. Okay. I apologize. You got to know that I remember coaching against them, playing against them.
Yes.
Over there. So my first question, I'm going to move when you went off to the pros. How did you become a major league coach, even like a first base coach? I mean, there's a lot of guys that did what you did. Let's be honest, not a lot, but you know what I'm saying. That played ball, and that was this or that or whatever. How did you get that call, and what happened?
Let me tell you, when I finished when I felt like my playing career was over. That was it in my mind. And a friend of mine, Erwin Bryant, he got a call from somebody in Major League Baseball that wanted me to be a manager in Butte, Montana. So immediately I said no. And my wife, Trina, she stayed on me. She said, try it. I said, I don't want to coach. I never thought about being a coach. I don't ever want to be a coach. And I gave her the hardest time. And I gave Erwin a hard time because my mind was set on being home. I was never home. I was always gone. So I kept saying, no, 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 no. I frustrated Trina. Finally, she just said, you just need to try it. So they told me to call the general manager in Butte, Montana, which a lot of people don't know that's where Evel Knievel's from. I found that out. Didn't know that. Anyway, long story short, I finally agreed after giving my wife a lot of grief. And so I managed a team. I had, it was a co-op team. I had 6 organizations, and I fell in love with my players. And at the end of the season, I had 3 general managers come and interview me for jobs in their organizations. And one of them was the Dodgers. The other one was the Giants, who sent me a contract. And when they mailed the contract, the first thing the GM told me was that we don't negotiate. This is what you're going to make, and you're going to be up in Everett, Washington somewhere. I said, fine. So he mailed me the contract. Trina came up to me and she said, don't sign the contract. This was like on a Tuesday. She said, don't sign the contract. The Dodgers are going to call you. I said, Trina, nobody's been in touch with me with a contract. I got it sitting right there. She said, don't sign the contract. The Dodgers are going to call. I said, Trina, if I don't hear, this is a true story. I said, if I don't hear from the Dodgers in a couple of days, I'm signing the contract and sending it back to the Giants. They're expecting it. The next day, out of the clear blue, the Dodgers called. And she was looking at me, and I looked at her, and I'm like, I'm not believing this. I haven't heard from the Dodgers since the season. So long story short, I told the general manager of the Dodgers, I said, I have a contract sitting in front of me from the San Francisco Giants. He said, did you sign it? I said, not yet. He said, you know, we want you as a Dodger, but here's what I want you to do. Call the Giants and see if they'll let you come, see how we operate, and then you make a decision. I said, fine, I'll do that. So I called the Giants, couldn't get in touch with the head guy. Called him again, couldn't get in touch with him. I called him again, couldn't get in touch with him. So I got frustrated. So I called, and when the operator connected me to someone else, I said, tell him that I'm going with the Dodgers. Within 2 seconds, he said, what's all this Dodger talk? I said, I can't get in touch with you. He said, what's going on with the Dodgers? I said, they want me to go. He said, no, what about the contract? I said, if I signed it, I'll honor it. Haven't signed it yet. He said, well, how much did they offer? We'll give you more. I said, you told me you don't negotiate. He said, well, this is, yeah, he lied to me.
Yeah.
He said, we want you. I said, you know what? I'm going to go with my heart. And I went with the Dodgers, and I wound up coaching for 27 years.
Wow.
27 years.
Great story.
And did not want to do it, and I gave my wife grief. And God used it. So like you were saying in the beginning, having a mate beside you, I mean, my life, she's been with me before I became a professional. Actually, in a couple of weeks, we'll be celebrating our 45th anniversary.
Congratulations.
We've been together 50 years.
Oh, wow.
Which is hard to believe. 50 years.
Absolutely.
Yes, so I know
what a
I'm
blessing.
telling our age because she was 14, I
No,
was 16.
don't do that because she's probably going.
What's that?
15 and 16.
She was 14.
Y'all were 15 and 16.
She was 14. I was 16.
Oh, she was 14. You was 16 when y'all met.
Yes.
When y'all started dating.
I think you need to keep
Yes.
that last part to yourself. There, Shelby. I'm just saying. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yes, because of her, God used her in a mighty way because, as I said, I did not want to coach. And I tell you what, I found out it was one of the biggest blessings in my life because I've been blessed to coach a lot of guys. A couple of guys have made it to the Hall of Fame. A couple of guys have been all-stars. Believe it or not, a couple of guys that I coach, one of them coaches for the Dodgers and the other one coaches for the Boston Red Sox.
Wow.
Dave Roberts
Wow.
and Alex Cora were both Dodgers when I was a first base coach. So there have been a few guys that I've coached before that have become managers and coaches, and I love the young players. I love imparting, and I never really talked about baseball all the time. I talked to my players about life. I was up front with them. I was real with them.
Yeah.
And I think out of the 27 years, I managed about 7 years and only had one fight on my team. All of my players got along. They didn't all like each other, but they got along. And so I was well respected in every organization that I was in. So that's how I became a coach.
Okay, but I'm going back before you became a coach, and Shelby, did you have that instinct? Like a lot of times I've coached kids and I can tell they're going to be a coach because they were playing the game, but they did stuff to make you say, oh, he's going to be a coach one day. Was that you? Was you that guy? You know what I'm saying? You've been around guys that you would say, like Andy Green, who I coached here in Lexington, that was a manager and with the Chicago Cubs as well as a first base. Mm-hmm. I knew Andy was going to be a coach.
Yes.
Just because the way he handled stuff and did it. So again, and I may have cut you off and you may have answered me. Okay, was you that guy too?
No, nobody ever said I was going to be a coach. Nobody.
Nobody gave him that prop. That is hilarious.
I didn't hear it.
Now, I'm following up another question. I'm sorry, wife. I'm following up another question. When your wife said the Dodgers going to play, now this is what people this got to understand. When I grew up as a Dodger fan, it was Steve Garvey, Davey Lowe's, Bill Russell, Ron Say, Steve Yeager, Dusty Baker, Rick Mundy, and Reggie Smith. Yes. Okay, that group. That's when I was young. They were LA Blue. Okay, we did not like the Giants. Did your wife think the Dodgers was coming after you because the Giants came after you?
Oh, no.
So she just knew the Dodgers would.
She knew.
So it had nothing to do with the Giants.
Nothing.
Okay,
nothing.
You understand my point. You know how that huge rivalry was.
Well, that woman's intuition is something else.
Yeah, she wasn't even in contact with anybody.
Right.
This was totally off of her intuition.
I got the contract and I was going to sign it and send it back. And she said, don't sign the contract. The Dodgers are going to call.
And when you said that, I'm sorry, babe. You understand. We hated the Giants with a passion.
Right. Yes, I found out.
So, and everybody thought it was the Reds that the Dodgers hated back then. It was the Giants. Wow. So, and I guess my question, you answered it. Now I'm thinking if another team called what she said, and you said no, it had nothing to do with the Giants. Wow.
Nothing. I was going to sign the contract. I was going to sign the contract.
Wow.
And she said, don't sign it. The Dodgers are going to call. And I said, Trina, I got a contract from the Giants. I haven't heard from the Dodgers. And I said, I'll wait a couple days. But if I don't hear from the Dodgers, I'm signing it and sending it back. And
Well, I'm gonna move on, and for people who don't get it, it's Alabama and Oregon.
Yeah.
It's Alabama. It's Michigan and Ohio State hate you.
yes.
It's Kentucky and Louisville.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
okay, that's why I had to ask that question.
It's on that level.
It's on that level.
No, I'm telling you.
That's amazing.
I didn't even think about the
Amazing.
rivalry. I was going to
Right. You were just going to sign it without even
Yes.
thinking about the rivalry. Oh
Yes,
my
not
goodness.
even thinking about it. I would
That
have
is
signed
so
it.
good. That is so good. Well,
Wow.
your boy Alvin Brown is on. He said, "My lifelong
my
friend, your
boy.
telephone call was very inspiring and moving. Love you, brother." Deborah Lawson had came on, and she also
Yes.
said, "What a great love story." She said, "Hey," and then my girl Kelly Collins, you know, she's a Cowboys fan. We host our Dallas Cowboys on Tuesday nights together.
We're having a good show, baby.
and then shout out my girl Joanne Pugh. She is the author of the 50-yard line book that's available on Amazon, and she'll be here for homecoming, for Kentucky's homecoming, and we'll be speaking, and she talks about the health and wellness part of athletics. And then also shout out my Aunt Mary, and thank you for coming on.
Hey, Auntie.
Okay, so now that we done got all those out of the way,
My good people.
Yes.
now that we done got all that out of the way, let's go here.
What we on?
Are you coming? Y'all coming to the gala?
Of course.
Can't wait.
Of course.
Hold up. Before we hit the gala, I'm still on questions about
We
baseball.
gonna go
You know
back.
what?
We're gonna come back to
I
baseball.
said I'm still on questions on baseball, man.
We're gonna go back to
Because I
baseball.
told you I had a list when we got off last time that I wanted to ask you. It's because I'm so fascinated. Your life has to be a storybook telling. You know, so my question follows up. Did you write a book? Have you wrote a book? Are you looking to write a book?
No, we've been asked. We've been asked quite a few times. So we tossed it around. We've tossed kind of like a little podcast, a little family thing. I mean, things have been.
Family podcast would
Yes.
be real good.
We've been asked, so it's something that it's out there. It just seems like we're moving all the time.
Right.
Somebody's somewhere.
It seems like it's the Coach Bryant show and not our show. Okay, so my point is, but that story you just told, what your wife did, I mean, wow. I mean, and I know it's some few others. I mean, I guess my philosophy has always been, if you have this big $3 million house and only your family sees the inside of it, people want to enjoy your success as well.
Mm-hmm.
And people want to know your success. And especially people my age who's telling our son, Ty Bryant, who's 21.
Mm-hmm.
This because when Ty was playing baseball, he knew who you was because I told him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, he didn't look you up, and then he looked you up after, my dad's talking about him. So wouldn't the book sparkle that, not being arrogance, just a blessing of our God who's blessed you? Wouldn't that be kind of cool? And plus your boys and what they did, and
sure, it would. And you know what we did when we used to live in Baltimore. When I got traded to the Dodgers, we decided to move back to Lexington. At that time, we had 3 children. We had our 3 boys. And since I was no longer an Oreo, we wanted to raise our children around our family. So we moved back to Lexington. And here's what we decided to do. We looked around, and one of the things that Trina and I said, wherever we live in Lexington, we're not going to live in a gated community. We're going to have a house, and our house is going to be open. At that time, we were thinking about a private school for our kids, and we nixed that. It's like, we went to public schools. We're going to send our children to public schools. We just happen to live in the Tate Street district, which I did not know because I would have moved somewhere else. If the Henry Clay Tate Street, that little rivalry, It wouldn't have happened. But we wound up in the Tate Street district. Our kids went to public school just like we did, and we kept our house open. Our house was open. We still have kids now that still get in touch with us and can't believe we moved to Florida. We kept our house open. We finished our basement so that our kids could always be home on the weekends and they could invite their families over, but invite their friends over. They could spend the night. But if anybody spent the night, they had to call their parents. We had to talk to them to let them know that their child was staying. And instead of our children being out and people wondering where they're at,
you just kept them.
They were in the basement.
Yeah.
And so what we did, we just kept our house open. So we wanted, when you said, kind of living that lifestyle and letting people be a part of it, well, that's what we did. We did that. We did that. And Trina always had food. If I was away, it got to a point where when I used to come home in the off season, I would ask my children, I said, please give me 1 week with no company. That's how often we had children over at our house. It was like every weekend. And said, just give me 1 week. That's all I want. And I tell you what, I couldn't unpack without somebody else being at our house, and we loved it. So that's how we wanted to raise our family, being a part of the community. And I didn't want to be an outcast. So I was a part of DARE graduation. God, I was the DARE speaker for probably about maybe about 8 to 9 years in a row, speaking at schools, DARE graduation, every year, just for meeting one police officer, and then it just spread it. So I tried to do things in the off season, but more than anything, I kind of segregated myself because I wanted to be around my family. So I didn't, as far as going out and getting involved with a whole lot of things, my time was always short. So family time was important for me, but friends and family and friends and other people. So we made ourselves available, and our house was always open, and still is to this day.
I love it. Okay, so what part of Florida y'all in?
It's in Palmetto. It's in between Tampa and Sarasota. So it's on the West Coast. We love the West Coast. So you'll run into Palmetto before you get to Sarasota.
Okay, gotcha. Because I'm going to be in Fort Lauderdale. Well, we're going to be in Fort Lauderdale
in the Miami
in January. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the East Coast. Yeah.
She's doing some doing a football thing, and I mean it's a tough decision for me to go to Miami, but I think suck it up. What do you think, Coach?
You got to do it. You got to do it. I didn't sign that
contract. That's gonna be tough. South Beach is gonna be tough.
Some things are tough, man. I'm telling you. But that's what makes it work. Doing it together.
Yes, definitely.
So Mr. Brown has some really, really good questions, but where I had started to go was I brought up the Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame. So I'm gonna probably go backwards because we do have the gala coming up, and I can't wait to see you because we always got to have my selfie with you and Trina every time you guys come. But so we had you on before, but can you just retell us just what it meant for you to get of all the stuff that you've done and have been a part of, 2 World Series and all your kids, what the Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame meant to you?
Well, I mean, it was, as you said, I won 2 World Series. I won them in Baltimore and I won them in Los Angeles. My 42 years of professional baseball was away from home. Everything that I accomplished in professional baseball was away from home. And it all started in Lexington, Kentucky. I would have never been able to play baseball without my friends. I would have never been able to play basketball without my friends. And I was blessed to grow up with, I think, the best friends in the world. I love the Smithtown community. It's still close-knit. And, everybody was family. So I know a lot of people were proud of me because I was away all the time, a lot of people didn't get to see me. But once I got inducted to the Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame, it was different. It really felt like everything that I had accomplished, I had a chance to share it and give back to the community that I grew up in, to the city that I grew up in, to all my friends. It was like they got a chance to recognize me instead of the fans in Baltimore and the fans in LA. It was like I was home, and it was just the biggest blessing to me. I'm telling you, winning the World Series, there's nothing like them. But when you get honored in your hometown with all the legends that they have, and it just showed the appreciation of you all and the city of Lexington and all my friends. I just felt like I got a chance to give back what was given to me. And that was the biggest blessing when I was inducted.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
That's it.
That's it.
Now, when you were growing up in Lexington and you started to play baseball, did you have a Lexingtonian that was a hero? And then the second part question, who was your hero in the major leagues at that time when you was playing for Henry Clay? Okay. So who was your hero? Did you have one playing for Henry Clay that was older? And then again, who was your major league player that you looked up to?
Well, my cousin, D. Williams, he's older than me. He played at Douglas Park. He played basketball at Henry Clay. And I think he was probably the best athlete in our family. And everybody looked up to him. I looked up to him because I played baseball and basketball. And he was the one who I wanted to be like. So when I got a chance to play basketball at Henry Clay, because he played basketball, I felt like that I was kind of following in his footsteps. He didn't play baseball at Henry Clay, but when I played baseball at Henry Clay, it just seemed like I kind of came into my own. Don't get mad at me, but I grew up a Reds fan. Don't get mad. Hey, they were in the same.
But growing up here, how do you not a Reds fan when they're just right up the street?
Well, I just clarify.
You know?
This is a 49er hat, not a Giants hat. Okay.
I know it, but I listened to you name all those Dodgers. And I can tell you, Tony Perez, Joe Morgan, Dave Concepcion,
you can do the same thing, right?
Pete Rose, George Foster. Oh, I can go on and on, but I'm not going to do that to you. But here's one of the guys, Gary Maddox.
Gary Maddox, San Diego Padres.
And he was the center fielder for Philadelphia. And so when I became an outfielder, that was my idol. He was my idol, Gary Maddox, because they said 2/3 of the earth is covered by water. The other third is covered by him.
I know.
So,
if I remember correctly, didn't he always keep a chew in his mouth?
No, he had a beard.
I remember having a beard.
Yeah, he just had a nice beard. But that guy, he was always the guy that I wanted to be like, and that's who I kind of patterned my outfield game after. And in 1983, we played the Philadelphia Phillies in the World Series, and I'll never forget the Saturday because he was my idol. And Patty LaBelle to this day is still my all-time number one. I had a chance to meet him, but how about this day? So we're playing in Philadelphia, and right before the game, Elrod Hendricks introduced me to Gary Maddox. Now I was on cloud nine. All of a sudden, we're standing out for the national anthem. I didn't think it could get any better than that. And I look up on the dance. Oh, and look who's singing the national anthem. I turned around and looked at Trina, and I pointed, and she was shaking her head. And man, I tell you what, She sung, it had to be the best national anthem I've ever heard in my life. So all I was doing, I'm like, boy, I hope she goes down in our dugout. I just need to meet her. Sure enough, when she finished singing, they took her through our dugout. So I ran off the field and I went down through the dugout and I said, Miss Patty LaBelle, I said, I know you don't know me, but you are my number one all-time favorite singer. And I was going to ask her for a hug. And I said, can I get a kiss? And she gave me a kiss. And I went, yeah. And she went, yeah. Oh, my God. And
Ooh, I bet Trina was tickled.
I knocked in the game-winning run that day. Unforgettable. I'll never forget it. So those
What
are
a great moment.
What?
Oh, my goodness.
Now, okay. All right, here it is. I gotta be me.
Oh, Lord.
I gotta be me.
Be you.
That sounds like a book.
It does. What?
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Those are two of the best stories I have ever heard in my life.
No, real talk.
I'm
we're
not
not
playing.
doing that for
Yeah.
real, but I'm just saying.
What a great story.
Wow, because there's a person now like that I think is the greatest actress of all time and does no wrong and does nothing wrong and some I could be watching a show, so I understand. And,
Right.
and the show's on, and somebody would come in the room and go, shake their head. I'm not gonna say the person's name, but her husband is a former Heat basketball star. Okay, I'm not gonna say her name. I'm not gonna say her name though.
If Gabby don't get up out my house,
I understand.
that is so
Jim, I didn't say her name though.
No.
Didn't say her name.
That is so cute. What a cute story. That is the cutest story.
Yeah, and all I'm saying is that is something that myself, who coaches in Fayette County, would buy the book and be on purpose in the dugout. I'm assistant head baseball coach at Bryan Station currently right now, and I love it and be in the dugout because kids now are nosy. Back in our day, if an adult is doing something, they don't walk over there. Now they'll come right up on you while you're reading, talking on the phone, or anything. And that'll be a very good book, if you will, if that ever happens.
Yes.
That I know I've already read, but I'll be reading it when we go to Florida, go on the road trip. So I'm just letting you know.
All right. Well, I'm letting you know. We've talked about it, and it may happen.
I hope it does. I really mean that.
So Joanne says that it's such a pleasure to be on the show listening to your story. She said she's the mom of a former NFL player, but her roots go back to baseball. Her uncle was in the Negro Leagues. His career was from 1937 to 1950. What can you drop his name, Joanne, please? Oh, and who robbed you? Who robbed you of the Grand Slam home run in the World Series?
That was Gary Matthews.
That's who I'm thinking about.
That was, and you know what? That ball that I hit, the game was tied up. And so when the run scored, that broke the tie. So that was the same day.
Yeah. Now who y'all playing then?
Philadelphia.
Philly. You playing
Philadelphia. Yes.
Yeah. So it was the NFC playoffs, because it couldn't be the World Series.
No, it was the World Series.
Oh, you was with the Orioles at that time.
I was with Baltimore then.
With Baltimore, yes.
And Baltimore, Philadelphia beat LA. So I had never been to LA before. And so I was hoping the Dodgers beat the Phillies so I would get a chance to go to LA, because I'd heard about it, never been there, and always wanted to experience it. And another story, I don't want to cut you off, but
no, you're good. You're good.
Please.
And my name came up in trades in '85 when I was in Baltimore. It was thrown around. I heard it. And then I heard it again in 86. And then in 87, my name came up in trades. And I said, at that time, there were the shootings. The freeway shootings were going on. And I said, Lord, I don't care where I go, please don't send me to LA. And guess
And
what?
that's where you end up going.
I traded to the Dodgers. I said, Lord, you didn't hear me. And I tell you what, the best time of my life, when I was with Baltimore, I just got sent down to AAA. And a couple of days later, a Dodger scout was in the stands, and my teammate said he was there to look at somebody else. Well, long story short, he was there looking at me. And so when he saw me, we became good friends. And Fred Clare, the general manager at that time, we became good friends. He called Fred and he said, I got our guy. He said, he's ready. And Fred, Mr. Clare told him, said, stay with him for, the rest of this series. So that weekend I get traded. I'm thinking that I'm going to AAA because I was in AAA. So Tommy Lasorda is on the phone. Fred Clare, the general manager of the Orioles, he's on the phone, and he gets off. So Tommy said, welcome, John. We're so glad to have you. We just can't wait to see you in uniform tonight. I said, Tommy, I can't make it. He said, what do you mean? I said, I can't make it. I said, my wife is pregnant. And plus, I can't make it to Albuquerque. So I thought I was going to Albuquerque. He said, Albuquerque? Who said you were going to Albuquerque? He said, we traded for you. You're the starting center fielder of the Los Angeles Dodgers, and we're playing in New York. I said, New York? He said, yeah. I said, oh, I can make it. Oh, man.
That's another great story. Oh, you got me in tears.
Wow.
And you know what? I got to the stadium that night, and it was probably about, I'm guessing I'm thinking about 20, maybe 30 minutes before the game started. All I have is black and orange. I was an Oriole for 10 years. So they gave me some shoes. They gave me a uniform. And I hadn't even met my teammates. They were out there getting ready for the game. So I get dressed, I go out, and I meet my teammates. And of course, we are the visiting team, so we're hitting first. So my first, was it the first or second inning, I had a jersey on with no name on the back. They didn't even have time to put my name on the back of it. And then later on, I wound up with my jersey, with my number, and I don't know, everything else just kind of fell in place.
So when you was in New York, you was playing in the Bronx? You was playing New York?
Playing the Mets.
You were playing the Mets.
Playing the Mets.
Playing the Mets.
Okay. And had never been to that stadium before. So it was, I went from Rochester, New York to playing the Mets. And it was a story that Fred Clare, Tommy Lasorda, every time we were around somebody, they always told that story. Oh, yeah. I wasn't going to Albuquerque. I was going to take my 3 days.
but here's the funniest thing, and I was telling my wife this, is, I never have ever acknowledged you as a Baltimore Oriole. I never have. I always say Dodger. He was a Dodger. Yes. He was a Dodger. And because, and again, she knows I'm a Dodger fan. It's hard to keep up with it now because they trade and they move, and you can't really enjoy it. Sort of getting like college football right now.
And basketball.
Yeah. And basketball.
You don't know who's on whose roster. And it's kind of really hard unless you're a diehard that team.
Yes.
Not an individual. Because it's very hard. So you grew up as a Reds fan. And all of a sudden, was it any hope that the Reds was looking at you doing when you was about to get traded? Did they talk anything?
That I have no idea. All I know is I went to a junior college for 1 year, and I had a scout following me around who was with Philadelphia. And
Okay.
Philadelphia had back then they had January drafts and they had summer drafts. And I got drafted in the January draft. Well, I had a Philadelphia scout who came and, tried me out in high school. And then he said, you need to go to a junior college. So Philadelphia had the first pick in the January drafts, had the second pick. Baltimore had the first pick. And so I thought I was going to Philadelphia and Baltimore picked me. And when I first got drafted by Baltimore, I was mad because they beat my Reds in the World Series. I was mad.
Funny is
Oh
that?
my goodness, I was mad. But
Okay, so my question is, so at back then you didn't have like an agent that could
No.
like try to figure out how to get you like to the Reds so that you could be closer to home?
Oh no,
It didn't work like that back then,
no,
did it?
the drafts don't work like that. There's
I'm talking about like after once you became drafted and you were a player over the years, did you have an agent that advocate for it, or was that not like it is now? Because like now, agents can kind of, agents will do what they can to try to get you where you want to go. You know what I mean? And then try to negotiate some type of an opportunity.
Well, you have to be when you sign a contract, the team owns your rights for, I'd say, like in the minor league or the Orioles, they probably own your rights for maybe the first 5 years.
Okay.
So you can't say,
you can't do
I didn't
anything
like
outside of that.
No, it doesn't.
Well, and I guess I was thinking more for when your contract is getting ready to be up. You know what I mean? Is there any type of negotiation at that time? Like, well, I would love to go here, but I'll go whoever take me.
Well, when those kind of players are the big superstars.
Okay, gotcha.
I was never I wasn't an everyday player when I was in Baltimore. So they always used the platoon system where we had 2 players at each position. And so I didn't have that kind of pull. I had an agent.
Mm-hmm.
I had a big time agent, but I was never in a position where when I got at the end of my contracts where I had those monster years, I didn't play every day to get those years. So I couldn't negotiate where I wanted to go.
Okay.
So the guys that do it now are the guys that make a whole lot of money, but usually the guys that are not everyday players, you go with whoever wants you.
Whoever that wants you.
So
Okay,
when I got sent back to the minor leagues, I was hoping anybody would pick me up. So I wouldn't anybody.
Just to be able to play.
Oh yeah. And the Dodgers are the ones that went out and got me.
What a blessing.
What a blessing.
Well, and I guess my next question to you is every baseball player has something that makes people go, It's either Ricky Henderson's speed, it's either Gary Valentine's arm, it's either Hank Aaron's bat, it's either Ken Griffey's glove, who's all purpose, everything he did. What was your biggest assets? Was it speed, your arm, your ability to track balls? I mean, what was it that made everybody go, he can play?
Well, I would have to say my defense.
Okay.
It was definitely my defense. I had a good arm. I could run. And in 1982, I had a problem. I had a bone spur. And so I knew I was getting called up to the big leagues. I was in Rochester at the time, AAA. And I knew I was going to have surgery at the end of the year. So when I got called up to the major leagues, Baltimore they were fighting for playoffs. And so Earl Weaver called me in the office. He said, I know you're having surgery at the end of the year, but if you have to make a play, can you make a play? In other words, he said, can you throw somebody out if I put you in a game? And I said, Earl, if I don't take infield, if I don't throw a lot, I can make a throw. Because I had learned how to deal with my injury in Rochester, that if I didn't throw a lot, then I could get a good throw off. But if I threw a lot, if the nerve would rub up against it, and I never knew when it would happen. So he said, well, don't throw a lot. He said, matter of fact, don't throw it all unless I put you in the game. So I was up for 30-some days, and the last couple of weeks we were playing in Milwaukee, and it was their last home game, and it was packed. Earl put me in center field. We were up by 1 run, and Cecil Cooper hit a fly ball with a runner on third base, and I got it, got behind, and threw a bullet to home plate, a one hopper. Bang, bang play.
Bang, bang.
You could have heard a pin drop. And I mean, I'm running in from the outfield, and the guys in the dugout, they're waiting on me. So I'm running in, and I'm like, what are they doing? They're going crazy. I didn't know the situation and where we were in the standings. And so everybody's waiting on me. And when I get to the dugout, you know, I'm thinking, I'm like, they never seen anybody throw somebody out. So they're killing me. So after the game, we win the game. All the reporters come in, and everybody's asking about the throw. That's what I'm known for in Baltimore, the throw. So I do all these interviews, and Cal Ripken and I, we came up through the organization together. We always locked by each other. When the interviews were over, he said, Bone, you don't know what you did, do you? I said, I have no idea. He said, do you know what place we're in? I said, no, I have no idea. He said, that throw saved us, and now we're still in the hunt. And that was one of the biggest throws that you have ever made. And then I got nervous. I said, I'm glad I didn't know that before I made the throw. So that was what I was, when you think about Baltimore, that was kind of what I was known for. People, whenever I go back, somebody will always say, I remember the throw. And we got beat by Milwaukee the last day of the season. And they came in, they won the division. So back then it was just the East and the West. So they won the division, they won the East and played the team in the West. And Milwaukee went on to the World Series that year. So that would have been my first time. But the next year we went to the World Series and won it. So that's what I'm known for, the throw in Baltimore.
Okay, is it on YouTube?
What's that? The throw? Oh yeah,
yes, sir.
You can find it.
Oh yeah, because I'm gonna go find it. I can't wait. I can't wait, Coach. I can't wait to go find it.
1982.
Well, my question also, and I wrote down, you was, God rest both of them, so blessed to have Coach Weaver and Coach, Mr. UK Blue himself, LA Blue himself, Tommy Lasorda, to be a coach. I mean, those are two legend Hall of Fame coaches.
Threes, and Sparky Anderson.
And Sparky, excuse me. Okay, great, thank you. And Sparky, I mean, real quickly, if you can you do a comparison of those three? Because what I saw in Tommy was always up here. It just seemed he was always up here. I saw Sparky Anderson, little chilled. That's the impression he gave me. And then I saw Weaver looking for a reason to fuss.
Oh my God. Well, there's no need for me to explain. All of them, I'm telling you, Earl Weaver was, oh my goodness, some kind of smart. He knew so much about the game, but he would get nervous when games were tough and when games were tight. Sometimes he would get up and walk in the back, but man, he was smart. He really was. And he didn't really say a lot to me, but, you know, I knew what to do. And that was one of the reasons that made it easy for me when I went to Baltimore, because those guys took me under their wing and they always told me what to do. They said, by the fourth or fifth inning, make sure you're loose. You know, instead of waiting and sitting on the bench and then the manager say, hey, I want you to go pinch run. And then you're like, well, I'm not loose. Nah, I was prepared for anything. I was prepared for the throw. Anytime I had to go in and pinch run, I was already loose. And anytime I had to go in for defense, somewhere in the back, I had been throwing a baseball. My legs were always loose. Earl Weaver he was just a genius with how to use players, when to use them. And that was one of the greatest experiences. I wish he had been the manager in 83. 82 was his last year before he came back. When I played for the Dodgers, Tommy Lasorda, he's the most energetic and the most, he was funny, he was comical. And I tell you, when I was with Baltimore, children weren't allowed in the locker room.
I bet.
So when I got to the Dodgers, Tommy came up to me one day when I got traded. He said, "Hey, where's little John T?" I said, "He's with my wife." He said, "Well, I want him here at the ballpark." I said, "No, I'm not used to bringing my son to the ballpark." He said, "I tell all the dads, bring their kids, bring their boys to the ballpark so they can be here a little while." I said, "No, I'm not used to that." He looked at me. He said, "He better be here tomorrow." With a straight face. I mean, with a straight face, walked away. And I'm like, man, he's serious. So my son was at
I'm there tomorrow.
he was at the ballpark the next day. And so playing for him, he joked a lot, but he was a good manager. He kept the atmosphere loose. He was always engaged with what was going on. I've never seen a person who could walk around and everybody in the world knew him and he knew people. And I just couldn't believe he could remember that many people. So it was the most fun was playing for him, without a doubt. I really enjoyed my days. I enjoyed all my days, but I really enjoyed playing for Tommy. And then when I played for Sparky Anderson, who I admired being a Reds fan, when I was in Detroit, he was kind of like at the end of his coaching career. But he was kind of quiet, like Earl Weaver, and he just let his players play. He was aware of what was going on. He knew who could do what and the situations that he put you in. At that time, I was a veteran, so I was never caught off guard, whenever he asked me to pinch run or pinch hit. One of the things he always did was if you got traded to the Tigers, you were in the lineup that day. Sparky Anderson never waited around to see what you would do a week later. He put you in the lineup that very day. And he just made you a part of the team. So it was a blessing to be able to play for 3 Hall of Fame managers, 3 different characters, but all of them were smart. And I learned a lot. I did not want to be a manager because I played for 3 Hall of Fame managers. As I said, I never wanted to coach, but, it kind of gave me a different feeling when I managed in the minor leagues. I kind of enjoyed my players and kind of figured out what kind of manager I wanted to be. So I kind of liked how Tommy did, and I like being a player's manager. So that was how the kind of manager that I wanted to be, somebody that enjoyed talking to the players and having fun with them.
Gotcha. That's good stuff. So while you were in LA, you met many stars. He said, Kobe, who else?
Oh my goodness. Gosh.
Was there anybody that you were shocked that you met and was like, oh my God, besides Patty LaBelle?
And Gabrielle Union.
And who? Oh, I mean, it was, gosh, the list is so long. Like, Lennox Lewis, Julio Cesar Chavez, Denise Williams, Gerald Albright. Oh, God, Tom Selleck when I was in Detroit, LA, Don Rickles. Oh, God, so many movie stars that were friends with Tommy that came in the locker room. One of the biggest highlights was meeting Roy Campanella.
Okay.
He was always around when I first got traded to the Dodgers, so I enjoyed talking to him. I got to know Jackie Robertson's wife a little bit, and his daughter Sharon. So meeting them and Phil Jackson, I can't even remember.
I mean, it's LA, so it's hard not to meet those type of people in
Yes.
LA. So I guess then it becomes probably a norm seeing them because it's LA. So yeah. Oh, I'm gonna go back to Joanne. She said that her uncle was Buzz Clarkson. She said he would tell her journeys of being a manager with Roberto Clemente.
Oh, okay.
And then he also went to the majors for a short time with the Boston Braves.
Okay, a little bit before my time. I'm not
Before your time. Yeah, that's back in the day.
Not too familiar with the name.
Yeah, that's back in the day. Okay, so let's go back to helping these parents.
Okay.
What was that?
Helping these parents.
Helping these parents.
Okay. Well, my question is from coach to coach. Do you first yes, no, and then follow up? Do you do private lessons?
No. Well,
Okay.
I haven't done them.
You haven't done them.
No.
Okay. Is that something you would probably never do?
Oh, I would do it. I just didn't do it when I came home because I wanted to be with my family. So I dedicated my time with my family.
Well,
obviously that's the reason why they were able to be as good as they were.
Yeah, and
because you made sure that your boys had their skills set up.
What the thing is, you got to understand. Like with his sons, I'm coaching now with his sons, and they're on the opposite team. And I don't know because there's no name on the back that says Shelby. There's just a kid out there playing, and I will go, "Dang, he's nice." Like that. I literally, the oldest one, I said, "Oh, he's nice," like that, and nobody said anything because they assumed that I knew that was your son, and I didn't know it was your son. I just saw. I said, "Oh my gosh," and it was very. And then all of a sudden, I befriended your boys because I just loved they were always grounded. They really was. I mean, I'm sorry. They
didn't act like their dad was who.
I mean, they didn't ask for nothing.
Well,
they said, "Okay, I'm gonna earn this, and I'm gonna live up to what I'm supposed to do." And that's hard to keep young babies in that mindset.
Well, I give the credit to my wife because she's the one that held the fort down and kept our family together.
Great job.
People don't understand. I used to leave in February, and I wouldn't see my children. I might see them on their spring break for a couple of days, but when I leave in February, I wouldn't see them again until they got out of school in June. And when they came to wherever I was, mostly in LA in June, I was still traveling. So from June to August until school started, I was still traveling. They would go on a couple of trips with me. But from my oldest son made it all the way to AAA.
Yes.
I think I saw, people don't believe it, I think I saw one, maybe two Little League games. That's it. At Tate's Creek, when he was in high school, I saw John T. play one game. That's it. My other son, Jeremy, I think I saw him play one or two Little League games. I saw him play, I think, 3 high school games. That's it. My son, Javon, when he went to Kentucky.
Yeah.
And my 2 youngest boys are the ones I got to see play the most because they start playing on travel teams. And they just happened to play up in the Cal Ripken World Series when I was with Baltimore. Got a chance to see a couple of games. I got a chance to see my 2 youngest boys play maybe 4 Little League games. Every time I came home for the All-Star break, they got rained out. They got rained out. It would be so beautiful outside, and I'm looking forward to it. And they got rained out. They got rained out. Javon, I never saw I never saw Javon play one game at Takes Creek. Not one.
Really?
Not one.
Wow.
I never saw Jern play a game at Takes Creek. Not one.
Wow.
So from the time my boys were in Little League to high school, I may have gotten to see them all play 5 times each. When John T went to Kentucky, that was the first time I got a chance to see Kentucky open up before I went to spring training, and then I was able to see games on my iPad.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy went to Grambling, never got to see him play at Grambling because everybody's baseball season ran the same time as my baseball season.
Right.
So they were in Kentucky, I was away, and I never got to see him. So when my youngest son was he went to a junior college in Florida. At that time, I was outfield coordinator with the Braves, and we had 2 minor league teams in Florida. And I set up my schedule where I could go down, see our minor league teams, have my off days, and go see him play. So I saw Jern and Javon play the most, but never really got to see somebody play 10 times. It just never happened. And people, like you said, all the training that I did, it was limited. My boys were just blessed, and they were determined. I didn't push them to play baseball. It was what they wanted to do. And so all I did was encourage them, and I talked to them. And so all the hitting lessons and everything that they were doing, I was blessed with a wife who knew sports. And she would tell them what they were doing. She would tell the coaches. And sometimes the coaches didn't like it. So
I'm sure they didn't.
Oh, they didn't. So there's one story that she told me. One of the coaches was doing something with one of my boys, and she was telling him it was wrong. And she was screaming at him it was wrong. He didn't know what he was doing. And so one of the parents asked, the little kid asked the dad, said, "Is she right?" Screaming at the coach, and the dad told the son, said, "Yeah, she's right. He don't know what he's doing." So
Wow.
you have one of those kind of wives.
Yes,
You're blessed
I do.
to have one.
It knows. It's a blessing.
Yes.
I guess, we always stay 100 positive. But I do have a negative question where it's a positive answer, though. Okay, please.
Yeah.
Did any of your boys ever say, "Dad, where you at?"
They
did they understand that your job was what your job was?
They understood, and leaving for spring training was the hardest, because I honestly used to cry because I knew I wouldn't see my family for a long time. I knew they were going to be together. Anytime I left for spring training, that last week, no company. That last week we had to spend it together, and it was always like a somber, quiet week. And sometimes, we still talk about it, to this day. Some of my kids, they would cry. Everybody would kind of stay in their rooms. They wouldn't even hang out together. Everybody took their emotions, and they got used to it. They didn't like it, but nobody ever told me to quit. They never did.
Nobody,
Because the reason why I say that,
they never told me. I even asked them one time, kind of like at the end of my coaching career, that would they want me to quit so I could be home? And they're like, "Heck no, we love going to LA. We don't ever." So they had the time.
We got a little perks out of this.
Yes, they had the time of their life. So even some of their friends got a chance to go to LA with them.
But that is very good, and I say this in this matter is because I never will forget a few years ago when Ty was at Frederick Douglass playing football.
Mm-hmm.
He scored a touchdown against Boyle County, and I went to the session stand, and remember he yelled.
He was like, "Where's my dad?
Where's my pops? Where's Dad?"
Mm.
And people
because he was looking for Cisco after his touchdown.
He would do that. And what I'm getting at is I commend the spirit of our God in your heart, in your baby's heart, in your wife's heart, because, you know, validation of your dad, it means a lot to
Yes.
boys. And that's what I meant by my other question toward you. So, I mean, that is a strong, again, the wife, that strong Christian values that she installed into them to understand that, and them receiving it and respecting it to do. I just think that's amazing.
I think it's amazing because I think Cisco, I remember our first time we went on a date. He couldn't believe that I understood the situation. Like, he was like, "What? Are you real?" Because they had just took a loss to Henry Clay, just whooped their tail. Henry Clay just whooped him. Hey, coach beat him down. It was nasty, embarrassing. Coach,
all you have to do is say,
so I said, "Hey, I know, I understand." I said, "If you want to reschedule," just dying. I said, "If you want to reschedule, I totally understand."
That's too much information right there.
Just rolling.
Anyway, moving on.
You know what? Here's what I noticed. You didn't try to correct her. It still hurts.
Hey,
it still hurts.
Hey, it's hard to correct the truth.
I said, ooh.
Because basically what she said is I asked her for a date, and also we end up losing. We don't need the rest of the part. And then I called her on the way back because, you know, you have to get back on the bus and drive back to the school. And I was like, well, she was like, we can postpone. I said, no, we're good. I said, you want free food? And she was like, it ain't about that. I mean, are you okay? And I went, what? I mean, and that's what I mean.
Well, because I was coaching, I was coaching at the time, so I understood. You know what I mean? So
a lot of times, ladies,
and a lot of times women don't understand.
No.
You know what I mean? And I've seen it, you know what I mean, amongst my, people that I know or whatever, and they just don't understand. And and I'm in a couple of matter of fact, I'm in a coach's wives group. And they just go and throw it up in there. You know what I mean? Because they don't understand.
Man, it's
I mean, they just really don't understand the passion that these men have for the sport that they're coaching, for the kids,
and the emptiness about not being around their child,
and or not being able to be around their own kids, or being able to coach their own kids.
I'm gonna put this, and then my question is coming up behind it, Coach. Is this? I was coaching at Dunbar High School, and Ty was at Southwest, which is right down the street. I'm in a Dunbar uniform, and I went, and my question is this: I went after the Dunbar practice, and so which is right down the street. So I get in my car and I drive down there, and I see Ty on the ground with one knee at shortstop. I said, "Why are you on one knee?" He said, "That's the way the coach wants me to get the ball." Wait a second. And I guess that's what I mean, how fortunate you had coaches that had that vision, because, I mean, the man meant well, but I actually quit coaching at Dunbar
after that
to coach Ty, because I'm like, whoa, you're not coaching my child like that.
Yes.
And I mean, was that a concern of yours, of your boys, making sure they get the right coach? I know the wife is there, but a lot of times they're not going to take her as serious. Well, she's going to make them, like Terry would, make them take her serious. So
it from talking to Trina, I knew my boys could play, but I also knew that if they were going to be on a team and the coach had a son that played the same position, then there's a possibility that one of my boys may have to play another position. And so it didn't matter if my son was better. There was some politics.
It always
And
is.
one of my boys went through that
Wow.
when he was in high school. He went through it. They put him in a different position. And I asked the coach about it. And long story short, he said the other kid couldn't play the outfield. So I said, so why are you punishing my son if he's the better athlete? He said, well, because your son can play the outfield. I said, well, why don't you get another outfielder? Because my son was the better player on the infield.
Mhm.
Yes. Yeah.
So he just looked at me and he said, I can't do that. I said, that's not helping your team. Now you got this kid who can't really play that position, but because he can't play another one, you're going to put him here and put my son in a new position. And long story short, my son winds up playing the same position in college. So he was out of position, but with my boys, they were gifted enough where they could play different positions. So that was always a concern of mine, but never being home, I just never really, I had an input, but I never really got a chance to see my boys play. So I had to listen to what Trina said. And then I would tell my boys, whatever she's saying, do it. Because she knew it takes a special kind of woman, a special kind of wife like you, Miss Bryant, to be a sports wife.
Yes.
Special women. Special women.
Yes.
For the ones that don't know, and I'm not talking down on them, it's hard. And,
It's hard.
It's hard. Because it's almost like, because you're basically a single parent for a period of time.
Yes.
You're a single parent, and you're like, that's the reason why I got married, so that we could do this together.
Yes.
But you're a single parent when he's coaching.
Yes. My wife raised 6 of them while I was away. And our kids never fought. My boys to this day, they couldn't put their hands on they couldn't put their hands on each other. My boys have never had a fight. They've never put their hands on their sisters. It wasn't allowed. If they got in an argument, Trina would make them hug each other, look each other in the face, hug each other, and they would start laughing just so they could let each other go. But it kept them close, and it always kept us close. So that's one of our family bonds. We just wouldn't let our boys fight and take care of each other.
Yeah, and that makes them grow up. And I throw this comment in when you're talking about playing another position, because I remember Ty playing something, and the coach walks up to me and he said, "Does your son play outfield?" And I said, Ty, come here, man. Ty came over to me and I said, "Hey, can you do me a favor? Can you take those 3 gloves off your bat?" And remember, he took the 3 gloves off his bat, laid them down. And I said, "See those gloves? That's almost over $2,000 worth of gloves. None of them are outfield gloves." That's all. And that's all I said. Because I'm one of these coaches also, and Dad never said a word.
Yeah.
And she'll tell you, I don't say anything.
Yeah, we don't. And I never did either. Yeah. Because we're coaches and we don't want nobody saying nothing to us.
Exactly. And I didn't want to use my authority like that.
Yeah. And the hardest part is sometimes I'm going to tell you,
sometimes
it wasn't easy.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it was tough because you're sitting there going, "What are you doing? What are you teaching?"
Yeah.
That's wrong. I don't know what you're teaching. You're teaching Little League. And my philosophy is, if you play Little League, you got to teach them to get ready for high school.
Yes.
If you coach high school, you get them ready for college.
Yes.
If you're in college, you get them like even we're at Crawford Middle School. My kids that we both coach, our kids, I tell them all the time, I don't coach you for middle school. I coach you for high school. I want you to get ready for high school.
The next level.
Because if I'm coaching you at middle school, that means I'm coaching you even and down.
Yes.
I got to coach you up.
And I think that's what a lot of people, and I think that's the advantage that we have of me being a coach, and especially being a football coach, because when it comes to Ty, now we're starting to get people coming for us for advice with, you know, how to set their children up for success.
So do you
and
get
that type of stuff, you know. And why wouldn't you get that? Are you tired of those type of conversations, or are you starting to charge people for it? Because I'll tell you right
You can
now,
make a killing.
Coach, I'm telling you right now, you can
Wow.
set it up where it's $50 or $100 an hour to pick your brain.
Man, it's, you know, I've been asked questions, it seems like my whole career, especially when I was a coach. And not to put people down, a lot of people think their child's better than what they are. Some people
That's
just
facts.
they're
That's
not in
facts.
they're not
And they're
in
not
reality.
even close.
They're not in reality. And they think that just because I can work with them, that I can turn them into something great. People tell, I hear it all the time. If you could just look at my son, I know he'd be drafted. I know he can play in the major leagues. I'm like, where is
look
he?
at him.
I asked him, I said, where is he? They say he's at a D3 school. I said, okay. Is he a starter? No, he don't start. I'm like, okay. So
Okay, so he's at a
he's a
D3.
major leaguer.
He's not
They
starting
say,
where he's at, and you think he can make it to the major
you
league.
think he can make it?
It's that lack of reality that really cooks my grits.
One of the things that when Ty was getting recruited, one of the guys said, if you ain't the horse in your state, stop thinking you're the horse in the nation.
Yes, man.
I mean, and that's reality. If you don't make the
We're
all,
not talking California.
so
we're
we
not,
have
we're
an
not
all.
talking Indianapolis.
No,
we're talking Kentucky.
Kentucky.
I mean, no disrespect. I love it.
No.
My hometown, Bowling Green, Kentucky. If you ain't it in the state of Kentucky, stop.
Coach, let's go back. If you're not the best in Lexington,
yes,
and then if you're not the best in the region,
yes,
and then the state, if you're not even on those levels, don't even, and you're definitely, if you're not making all state, what make you think that you're next level?
Everybody thinks that their kids can be D1 players. And what I've always encouraged parents to do and their children, I said, wherever they get an opportunity to go play, let them go play. And they'll come back with, well, your boys played at Kentucky. I said, well, they
earned it.
They were D1 players. I said, but my youngest son and my second oldest son played at a junior college. And they're like, well, what about you? I said, I played at a junior college. They're like, where? I said, Columbia State. They said, where is that at? I said, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. I had an opportunity to play. It didn't matter where it was at. So if your child wants to be part of a program and somebody wants him at a D3 school, don't have him trying to walk on at a D1. He's not going to make it.
Not going to make it.
He's not going to make it.
Oh, we talk about that all the time.
We talk about that a lot. I talk to parents about that, Coach Shelby.
You all are there.
I mean, the bottom line is, when you watch people, when people watch you as a major league who grew up with you play against other major league, it looks easy.
Yes.
But everybody's at a level. And then some of them are above that level.
Yes.
And I said to somebody, I said, no, I'm going to tell the true story. We were playing pickup basketball when I was at UK way back in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And there was 4 UK kids that came to the blue court, and they don't play. I mean, they get no minutes. They lose about 50. They get no minutes. They were out on the court, and all of a sudden we start playing them. Boom, boom. We like, that's how high the level is of guys that's D1.
Yes.
So these guys made us look like we could shoot. And we're like, you don't play? And he goes, I'm not even close to them guys.
Man.
And people don't understand.
People don't understand that. People don't understand that at all. And then and I think the hardest part is probably navigating the parents and really, really getting them to understand the reality check with seeing where your son is. Because if people aren't talking about them on the local area, the local level, and then they're not talking about them on the regional level, then your kid is definitely not a D1.
No, the scouts.
They might not even be a D3 if they're not talking about you at all. Scouts they might not even be college level if they're not even on that level and showing up on those boards.
Yes. Yeah. That's a true fact. And another thing, not getting off subject, but like you said, the guys that play professional, they make it look easy.
Yes.
It's not easy. You all know there's nothing easy about it, and I made it to the major leagues as a switch hitting outfielder. Got drafted as a right-handed shortstop. Never switch hit in my life. And all of a sudden I was in the minor leagues playing around, hitting on the left side, and the hitting coach said, "I didn't know you switch hit." I said, "I don't."
I didn't know
He said, "I just saw you." I said, "I'm not a switch hitter." And they turned me into a switch hitter. And it was either master this or you're going home, because the guys that I had to compete against were at their natural positions, hitting on their natural side. So I had to learn how to switch hit when I was 21 years old. Wow. Now, professional baseball, not little league. I had to learn how to hit professional baseball. And the next thing I know, I was in the Florida State League. The next year, I was in AA. It got better. And the next year, I got called up to the major leagues. And a couple of years later, I was in the major leagues. And it was hard work. I never could relax. Never could.
Can. Well, what normally happens
well,
this time.
I still got some questions.
Okay, but you still get through your questions. Okay, what normally happens, what I do is I leave no doubt, Coach. It's always an honor. I usually leave about this time, let her close her show out. I always appreciate her. For let me be on the podcast and have the opportunity to ask some questions to yourself and legends like yourself, but not pedestalizing you. There's only one God. But I am so honored, and I'm surprised that you didn't. What's the T song? You don't know me. What's the name? The rapper.
I have no idea.
Not Ice-T, the other one. He had a song that says something about "You don't know me," because I used to walk around when you went to the Dodgers and say, he's from Lexington, right? I'm in Lexington. You was my homeboy. You was my homeboy. But please tell the wife and the boys I said hi, and please tell the wife. The part that I will end my statement is, again, I hope you write the book. I really do, only because everybody that don't know who you are needs to know who you are, because you are what we would say, you're a legacy. You really are. And what you've done for the city of Lexington, Kentucky, and the state of Kentucky is amazing. And your wife as well, which people don't understand that because when I first met her, and she could tell, I was sitting like, that lady don't play.
Oh, no, she does not. And I'm blessed to have someone that God gave me exactly what I needed.
Amen.
Exactly.
Well, Terry's going to end it up, Coach. Okay. Again, thank you. Yes. This is Hits and Heels. This is Terry Mills Bryan show, and then Coach Bryan is just happy to be a part of it. All right.
Love you, man.
Love you, man.
All right.
Coach, I'm not gonna hold you too much longer. No. So tell me, what's the right balance between being a supportive parent and being too involved?
Too involved,
Is there such thing?
I think too involved is not being realistic
Okay.
with your children. I mean, I think you need to be involved. You need to be in your children's business. You need to know what's going on. We always like to meet girlfriends with our boys, bring them home so we can meet them, because if the relationship goes any further, we want to know who you're connecting with, because it's not just you connecting, it's you connecting with their family. So it's a bigger picture. So it's not just being too involved and too connected. You have to know your children. You have to be realistic, and communications is the key to life. You have to talk to them. You can't just leave them to themselves, because they don't. They think they know, but they need you more than you realize they need you. And so, just being a parent who's involved. My wife is she's more talkative than I am, and she's been involved. My kids know me because of her. She would always, there's your dad on television. She would tell them, hey, your dad loves you. I mean, we were on different time zones for the longest time. And so she kept me on their mind and kept me in their life. And one of the things that we never really tried to do was disrupt our children. We let them grow up. We let them get involved with sports that they wanted to get involved in, and we were always supportive of it. So I just think there's a balance, but not being involved and not speaking up is probably the worst thing you can do as a parent. Don't leave your children to themselves, because they don't always know, and they
What's
may
best for
not
themselves.
they may not ask you. It'll be in their mind, but they may not ask. So don't be afraid to ask hard questions.
Okay. So from your perspective, what do scouts and coaches really look for in athletes beyond the talent? Like what are the stuff that people would not think about is really important as far as setting your athlete up for success?
Uh, you look at character. You talk to people about their character, and one of the things you do, like I found out, which when I practice like it was the game. So I never went out doing batting practice and clown around. And I practiced. I went after hard balls hard. I would get pictures of somebody on the infield, and if somebody hit a fly ball, I'd tell them. I'd pretend somebody was tagging, and I would practice throwing. My batting practice was like a game to me, so I took it serious. One of the things I found out when I got traded to the Dodgers, what the scout did, he saw me out there practicing, and this was before the game. And I had just got sent down to the minor leagues. So when you get sent to the minor leagues, you could have a bad attitude that you're mad that
Because you're mad that
yeah, but I didn't have that attitude. And so when I talked to the scout, he said that was one thing I wanted to see. You just got sent down to the minor leagues, and I wanted to see if you were still going to hustle, if you were still going to go after it like you always did. And he said, when I saw you, I said, this is our guy. So as a scout and as a coach, you look for guys that practice, that take it serious, that go out to the positions. You look and see how they talk to their teammates. And, it's easy to look at somebody when they're having a great game. Of course, they're going to
Oh,
be
of
happy.
course. Yes.
But you really pay attention to them when they make errors and when they're not having a good game. You'll peep down in the dugout. You'll see how they walk off the field. You'll see how they walk on the field. Is this guy still thinking about the error that he just made? Is he still thinking about the strikeout? Is he still thinking about the home run? Because it can turn into a snowball effect. It's like this guy's only concerned about himself. He's not a team player. So those are little bitty things as a scout and as a coach. You can look at a kid and see it, and you'll know, hey, I know this guy's a good talent, but he'll work well with this team. And that's how scouts come up and they say, this guy will fit on our team. He's the kind of team player that we want. So attitude plays a big part in how a player goes about handling themselves in tough situations.
Okay. So Cisco coaches, I guess, I don't know, travel ball.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, over the years before Ty went to UK, I can't even think of all the years we did. Ever since I think he was 10 or 8, or probably before that, we've been doing travel baseball, even though he's playing football at UK. But all that time during the summertime was all travel baseball. How important are like exposure camps as opposed to being on a travel team? Is there a difference, or what would you highly recommend in this day and age? Because travel is so expensive, right? And
Yes.
so you might have a child that's talented, but you might not can afford, the
Yes.
$3,000 for the fees for them to be on a travel team. So how does that child get developed?
Well, the sad thing is that travel baseball has become the thing, and it got rid of the summer leagues, and it got rid of players growing up playing with each other. Now with travel ball, you play with players from everywhere, and the only thing that's not good about travel ball is they don't get to practice; they just play. They go weekends, you're gone, and so at times I don't think you get a chance to develop your skills because you're constantly playing. This weekend, next weekend, you're going somewhere else, and it's a very expensive sport. I wouldn't. People think that the only way their son's going to get recognized is if he's on a travel ball team. But if you're not on a travel ball team where you don't get to play, you're not going to get recognized. So now leagues are coming up where the star players play on one team and then the other guys play on another team. And unfortunately, when guys go out to see them play, they don't always follow those other teams. It's
They just go to watch the main kids.
the main
Because I
guy.
know I remember when we was in Atlanta, and there was a couple of college scouts that were out there, and they were there to see just certain kids.
Yes.
I mean, I was like, oh wow, yeah, because we did go to a couple of ones, and because they'll wear their college shirts, so that's where they were from,
Oh
and
yes.
they were obviously recruiting, and so what can parents do outside of the field to give their athlete the best shot of either a college scholarship or to be able just to go pro? Because baseball, you can still go pro out of high school.
Yes. Well, the thing about it is that if your son wants to play baseball, chances are he's going to have to play on one of those teams. And that's where the exposure comes from. One thing we didn't do was send our kids to a lot of camps.
Okay.
I'm just not I'm not a big believer in paying hundreds of dollars to go to a camp to get looked at. I think you need to be on a team because
Okay.
you can go to a camp and it could be 40 guys, 50 guys at the camp. Maybe it could be, that many. And a lot of times, those coaches that have camps, they're not looking at everybody. They know what they're looking
Who they
for.
want to look for?
Yes. And so they may need pitching. So they'll have a camp and invite anybody and everybody. So they have pitchers, they have catchers, they have outfielders, they have infielders. And so the infielders and outfielders, they're not really getting looked at because the need is for for pitching. So let me tell you, we didn't do it. We had opportunities where people wanted our kids to go to all these different camps in different cities and different states, and we just refused to do it. we left them at home and let them play with the local teams. And as my younger boys, excuse me, they played on the same travel team.
Okay.
So instead of letting them play on different teams, we just
You
stuck
just
with
put them on the
them.
same team.
They stayed on the same team, and I knew they were going to play. So that was
Okay.
it. I knew
Okay.
they were going to play.
Okay. Oh, this is funny. T-Bone said, Alvin Brown said, please refresh his memory. 50 years ago, I was in a fight after our game. Did I win or lose? He said, did I win or lose against Ed?
Alvin Brown, I know you're listening. Blood is still on the sidewalk on Georgetown Street, and it's yours.
So that means he took my man Alvin took an L. You took an L.
Nah, Alvin, you won a lot of them. Not that one.
Is funny.
Oh my God, we still laugh about that. Wow. And Alvin started it.
And he started the fight?
Yeah, he started it.
That is so funny.
Oh man.
Well, I absolutely have fell in love with him. He's probably the best since he's found out about my podcast. He hasn't missed an episode, and we've gotten pretty close ever since then. I appreciate him so much, and just praying for him and his family through this time that they're going through right now. And I just can't imagine what he's going through. Now, are there any MLB rules that need to be changed?
They change so many things, and baseball is just like life. Nothing stays the same. There'll always be changes, and some are for the better and some aren't. But the only way that you know what's good or what's bad is by making a change. So what baseball does is when they make changes, if it doesn't go well, eventually somewhere down the line, they'll come up with something else to change it. I always liked it when it was the American League against the National League, where you played in your own division. Well, they changed it, and now everybody plays everybody. Okay. At first, players didn't like it, but when you look at it from the stands point of view, now they get to see everybody play. So it's a good change. The DH and I liked it when the DH was in the American League and not in the National League. Mm-hmm. So they made that change. I didn't like it. A lot of people didn't like it because it made both leagues the same. Mm-hmm. But that's another change. Now with the pitching, guys pitch so many innings, throw so many pitches. They have so many different rules that I don't like the extra inning rule, putting guys on second base. I understand the games are long. Mm-hmm. They're trying to shorten them. I don't like it, but it's something that helps the game. It helps speed up the game because people complain about it being too long. So it's hard to point out what's good and what's bad, but changes, they need to be made. Nothing needs to stay the same.
Gotcha. So what can we do to get more Black boys playing baseball?
The unfortunate thing is when they look on television, they don't see them.
And I think Coach Bryant, I think he's the only Black coach here in Lexington.
He probably is.
Coaching baseball.
He probably is. I don't think there's ever been one for SEC baseball. I don't think there ever has been one.
SEC hasn't had one?
Baseball?
Yeah, really?
I don't think there's ever been one.
Oh my goodness.
Ever. I don't think there's ever been one. Ever.
A Black SEC coach.
Baseball.
Ever. Period, or just head coach?
Head coach, ever. Ever. Yes, ever. Just think about it. Just
But I
over
think it's
and
just really good. And I think that's why I'm so in awe with you being able to coach for 27 years on the next level, because I know that it is so hard. Baseball is already hard for brown people anyway.
yeah,
Well, for anything. For
yeah,
us to be in anything. It doesn't matter what level it is, whether it's corporate America, whatever sport
yeah,
it is. It's hard for us to be in the coaching, especially the head coaching or the general manager or any type of administrative position in any of
yeah,
those organizations.
yeah.
You know, so for you to have done it for 27 years is absolutely amazing.
Yeah. I don't. When you
And I
think
think
about
that's
it,
why, and I
look at
think
football. Look at football and basketball. You can turn on the
you could
television.
turn, and it's not that many.
And no, in football and basketball, you can turn on there, and as a young kid, you can pick out a hero. You can pick out a role model, and there are past role models. You know, Jordan hasn't played forever. People still
Yeah,
want to
but
be like,
people still want to be like Mike.
yeah, they want to be like Kobe. They want to be like LeBron, Steph Curry. I mean, it's
Right,
sky's the limit. But when it comes to baseball, people don't know who Hank Aaron is. You know, people,
right.
Barry Bonds, people don't know. They don't know.
I mean,
So,
even Ken Griffey Jr. I mean,
yes,
how do y'all not know who he is?
people don't know. They don't know because they, they just, those guys played. When I played, there were more of us, and now it's not that many.
Not that many.
So, who wants to watch somebody and there's nobody that you want to be like?
Right.
So that's why there aren't that many playing. And then,
Got
like with travel ball is expensive. Playing
hmm
on back, playing it don't cost much to play basketball.
Right.
You know, football is a big, good team sport. You got friends. Baseball, you got to have friends. It's not that many. You know,
hmm
basketball's going on in the summer, football practices. There are a lot more things going on with sports. You know, baseball bats are expensive, gloves are very expensive,
Oh my
cleats
God,
are
we're
very
not getting ready.
expensive.
I mean, I remember
Mm.
being at a wooden bat tournament in Atlanta, and Ty broke both bats.
Oh my goodness. Mm, mm,
We
mm,
had to go buy two new bats.
Can't imagine. Can't, can't imagine.
And then he had, like you said, he played different positions. So he had a catcher's mitt because he played catcher. He had a first base mitt. He had an infield mitt. And I'm thinking like, well, in first base the infield?
No,
He's
now
like,
that's
no. And
no
then he had, and then I think they tried to put him out outfield, so he had to go have an outfield mitt.
bigger
But then
gloves.
then he had a batter's gloves, and then he had sliding gloves. And I was
Yes.
like, oh my God. And then I don't know how many times we would, then he had turf cleats
Oh
or
yeah.
turf shoes, and then he had regular cleats
Cleats.
for the dirt. And I
Yeah.
was like, and then he would go through at least a pair of cleats in one or two pairs during the season.
Oh
So
yeah.
it was not cheap at
No.
all.
Baseball's
And then
not cheap.
when we traveled, it was hotel and food and just that whole thing.
Yes.
Always someplace for a whole week. I got lucky one week we went to Gulf Shores because I'm from Mobile, Alabama. So my family are from Baldwin County. So a lot of my family were about less than an hour away from Gulf Shore. So that one was probably my favorite one. And then of course Atlanta, because I have a lot of friends and family in Atlanta because I'm from
Mm-hmm.
Alabama. So I love those trips because I got to see people that I normally didn't get the opportunity to see. So there were some perks to the traveling and stuff, but oh
Oh
my goodness, it was expensive.
yes, and I had there was a guy I met him years ago. He had two boys. One was 8 and one was 10. And he personally pulled me aside. He said, "This travel ball is big, and I need to put my boys on these travel teams." And I looked him in the eye and I said, "Don't do it." Serious. I said,
You
"Don't
said
do it."
don't do it.
He said, "Why?" I said, "Because Your two boys are on two different teams. You and your wife are going to be passing. He's going to be going one place. She's going to have him. You're going to be going with the other team, and you're not going to see each other that much. I said, don't do it. I saw him the next year. He looked at me. He almost had tears in his eyes. He said, I wish
I
listened.
listened.
Yeah, I said, what happened? He said, we almost divorced.
Yeah.
He said it ruined our whole life. He said we never saw each other. And I said, I told you, when they're 8 and 10 years old and they're traveling all,
you don't need to do all that at that age.
No. They're developing, and you're trying to make them into what you want them to be.
What you want them to be, and
Yes.
that might not necessarily be. And I think that's what I've looked at even with Coach Bryant, is because he's been so frustrated these last couple of years because they've just kids that just want to play.
Yes.
And he's had no talent.
Yes. They just want to play.
But luckily he just wants to coach, that he loves coaching baseball that much. But boy, he comes home frustrated because he's like, it's just routine plays. Like, if you're not making routine plays in baseball, what makes you think that you're next level? Even high school.
No.
If you're 13, 14 years old, 12, 13, 14, and you can't catch a routine fly ball, what makes you think you can play in high school or make a high school team?
They look at sports, they see these guys make them on TV, and they have no idea the thousands of ground balls that they fielded, the hundreds of fly balls that they've caught, the thousands of rounds of batting practice. They don't see that. So all they do, they see the results of the hard work that they don't put in. And that is the hard problem.
I think that's the part the families don't understand, the level of set. And then I don't think Coach, we can be here all night, but I'm getting ready to let you go. They don't understand the sacrifice and the commitment level.
Yes. It's a real commitment, and
it's a commitment. Like,
it's big time sacrifice.
Okay, I don't know how many times we got kids like, why are y'all not? Well, we had a family birthday party. We didn't do none of that stuff. Time missed practices for stuff like for family events.
No, you got to be there. You
got to be at practice.
You got to be at practice.
And we didn't go on vacations.
No, what was that?
What was that? We didn't go on vacation. Cisco and I in 16 years have been on one true vacation. All of our other vacations were centered around where are we traveling? Where's Ty's traveling to?
Yes. That's what it's about. That's commitment and dedication.
That's commitment. I think that's the part that people don't understand. So the Shelby family has handled their successes in a remarkable way. They are one of the most loving families I've ever known. That's from Jennifer Jones. And she says that Bobby, they are so appreciative of your ongoing support of Layshaw. Like I said, I can't wait to see y'all in 10 days. We're 10 days away. 10 days away.
Yes, we are.
10 days away from our fourth. Look at you. You was the first, and now we're already at the fourth.
We try to make it a point, even though we live in Florida, we try to set aside time to come back every year.
It's a good time.
Yes, a great time. I'm telling you, great time. Just seeing all the
great time.
It's one of the best
times.
It is
a great time. Oh my God. So Cisco and I are on the red carpet again. Thanks to the Joneses. So make sure you come by to see us. But you know me, I'm gonna come find you.
Well, we'll see each other, no doubt. Love you all. You all are awesome.
Find you. We love you too. Well, okay. We're almost. Mr. Brown said, "Who's the greatest baseball player ever?"
Who's the greatest? The greatest baseball player that I have ever seen is Barry Bonds.
Really?
He's the best player I've ever seen.
You've ever seen?
I've ever seen in my life. Ever seen steroid? I don't.
Oh, don't care. What about you? Don't care about none of all that other stuff.
Everybody talks about steroids, but how many people did what he did that were on steroids? Also, nobody.
Gotcha.
He's the greatest baseball player I've ever seen in my life. That's my opinion. People disagree because they bring up steroids, but
Right.
I'm just telling you what I saw.
That he was still the best. But I guess what people don't understand is that all steroids does is just enhances. It's like me wearing makeup,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
It
Everybody,
just enhances what's
yes.
already there.
Yes, already there. It didn't make him great.
It
He was
doesn't make
already
you
great.
better.
No, he
You're
was
already
already
great.
great.
All it does is
Yes.
just enhances what's already there and what's already
Yes.
great. Yeah, I think that's what.
Yes.
Yeah. He said he was great as a pirate before the steroids. Yeah.
Yes.
I hate that. Okay, so my last question,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're done. Is there anything that you wanted to say publicly that you've never had a platform to say that you would like to say? And it doesn't matter if it's controversial. It doesn't matter. It doesn't. I mean, anything.
I don't know, Terry. I've never, I guess, sat around and given thought to, I guess, one particular thing. I just, if there's anything that
A
I
pet
wish I could
peeve,
have,
or something that you wish you knew, or something you could do differently, or I mean, I don't know. I'm just throwing
oh,
anything out there. I don't have no idea.
I wish I would have been able to see my family grow up. I mean, I miss birthdays. I miss them learning how to walk. You know, I miss parties. I miss fun. You know, Trina used to call me when she would have one of those days and say, must be nice you get to sit down and eat dinner by yourself. And I say, it must be nice that you get to eat dinner
It's
with
easy
the
to get with
family.
all the kids. Mhm.
Yes. And so I wish my kids had been able to see me play and me see them play. They saw me as a coach. They never saw me as a
Or you
player.
as a player
Yeah. So I wish they could have seen me play, but I wish I could have seen them play.
and play.
Because I missed out. I missed a lot, but it was a sacrifice that Trina and I made together. And so that's why we're blessed with our children. That's why they're grounded. And, that's why we're a supportive family because we encourage each other in spite of. And we're supported for whatever they want to do. And we just stay close. We have let me share it. I know you have to go, but we have Trina came up with the idea when John T started going to college, and I guess something hit her that you know what, we're not going to be together as a family. When boys get away, they don't stay in touch as much as girls do, and so she came up with the idea about a group text. And so for about the last 13 years, we have a family group text that's going strong for 13 years. Every week, which this week is my week, every week, everybody in the family, all the adults, married couples, you send out a scripture every day for your week, and everybody responds. And that way, wherever we are, everybody stays in touch.
Stays in touch. I
And
love that.
so it's been going strong for about 13 years. And so this week was my week. And next week will be Trina's week. And it just
Just
goes
goes
right
on
down
from
the line.
there.
Yes. And even the married couples, even our
You've
in-laws.
added your
Oh, yeah.
daughter-in-laws and stuff in there too.
Oh, yeah. We
Yeah.
don't call them in-laws. We call them in-laws. So we have 3 daughter-in-laws and 1 son-in-law.
Love.
So, and everybody like John T, he'll be after Trina, and then his wife will do it. Then Jeremy will do it.
Okay.
His wife will do
Then
it.
his wife will do it.
Yes.
Okay.
And so everybody, after they do it, their spouse will do it the next week, and nobody has ever objected to it.
Oh,
And
I
we do
love
it.
that.
We do it
But that's the
every
stuff that
week.
keeps you close. And then you guys get together every holiday too, like all the major holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas.
We do our best to do it. We
Mm-hmm.
do our best. Those are the times that we look forward to.
Oh, I bet.
So we
I
love it.
bet.
We're
I
blessed.
bet.
and we just love each other and we love people. And so, we've raised our children to be people, to love people, not just a family, to love people. And so
Gotcha.
that's how we are. We love people. We
I
love you
love
all.
it. Well, we love you. I appreciate you so much for coming on my podcast and just sharing with us. It's almost 2 hours. I'm so sorry that I kept you
That's
this
all
long.
right. That's all right.
Because I know you hadn't eaten and you was waiting on your
I'm
food. I
still
am so
gonna eat.
sorry,
I'm
but I
still
can't wait
gonna
to
eat.
see you in 10 days.
Yes. Looking forward
And
to it.
and tell Trina she's got my number. She's got to let me know when she's free. I will set up a different time because she and I have to have a conversation on the air talking about the whole
Wow.
sports family life and what it's like, what the support looks like. And because we got to help a lot of these these wives.
Let me tell you, you
Listen.
need to have her on there. I'm
Yes,
telling you,
I do,
you
because I know
need
she's
to.
gonna be able to give. She's gonna be able to drop some nuggets that's gonna free some people.
Yes.
And that's gonna save some family lives as well.
Yes.
It's gonna save some relationships because that's being this sports family life ain't no joke.
No,
It's
firsthand.
And I tell Ty all the time. I said, please don't date a female that don't like sports.
Don't do it.
It'll ruin your life.
It'll ruin his life. It'll ruin his life because she won't understand when he has to leave.
Because she will not understand. Yes.
No, it's a commitment, and like you said, it's commitment
And a lot of sacrifice.
A lot of it, and a lot of heartache and a lot of loneliness.
Yes.
And you have to know how to deal with it.
And be able to deal with it.
Oh
Yes.
my goodness. Yes, you're right. You need to have her on there.
Oh, I can't wait to have her on. So yes. Oh no. That's been ever since I started my podcast. It's been on my mind to bring her on, and I just haven't made the time to call her to set it up. But I am definitely going to make it a point. Just tell her to let me know when's her if she's got free time in the evenings like this. I know she's doing her thing now as a nurse, but but I definitely need her on there because I'm writing a book because I feel like I can come from the perspective of that a lot of women can't come from. We're still on live. I come from I was an athlete, but then I also am a coach's wife, and a sports mom.
Yes, that's a lot. There is nothing easy about any of them.
And there's nothing easy about any of it.
Nothing. And it's you all. I'm telling you, I'm proud of you all. I'm proud of you.
Well, you guys are our heroes, that's for sure. We definitely. I mean, the first time I met your wife, I asked her, "Would you be open to being a mentor?" As we were trying to navigate things, Ty was still young, and we were still trying to navigate through things, and she was like, "Oh yes, absolutely." Yes. And so I just thank her so much for just being open, to that, and luckily I didn't have to bug her. But I am going to bring her on my podcast. Well, I'm gonna shut this off.
Okay.
Coach, thank you so much again. I can't thank you enough. And we're going to see you in 10 days at our fourth gala at the Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame at the Central Bank Center. If y'all, this is the last week to get tickets. Tickets are only on sale. I think Saturday is the last day because ticket sales stop a week before because they have to be able to get all the food and all the last minute things together. So guys, make sure y'all get y'all tickets if y'all haven't got them yet. Coach, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I appreciate you. I'm going to end the stream, but don't log off. I'll see y'all next week, y'all.
Okay.